Hey everybody, this is Erica, the technology nerd who likes to film stuff, and look what just arrived on my doorstep. This is the Galaxy S8. This is the T-Mobile variant. Actually, this is my pre-order, and it has arrived a couple days early, which is really nice. T-Mobile usually has these things arrive early. So I'm going to unbox this, and as soon as possible I will have the S8 Plus 2 to unbox, and I plan to review them side by side. So I'm going to have a chance to tell you guys about the difference between sizes and also the battery life, because otherwise the specs are pretty much the same. Let's go ahead and get into this. I've got my special knife. There we go. The seal is now open. It's cut. What I am most excited to do is to compare these to the LG G6, because I had the G6 for quite a while. I've had more experience with the G6, and I've really loved it. So we'll see which one really works best for me. I will let you know, and I will also let you know who this device is essentially for and who the Galaxy devices are for. Set that aside. So there it is. There's a little tab we can see here. That's nice. We don't have to tip it over and see it fall out of the box. If it's not obvious right now, I have chosen the Orchid Gray color. I hate these. There. Sticker gone. In some lighting, this actually looks a little bit purpley, but I thought this was the most stunning color that I've seen so far. And if you take a look at the front, all of these units are black. Doesn't matter which color you get. Ooh. So you've got the back and also the sides that are the color of the particular color theme, but all the front faces are black. And this has made me feel more secure about getting a colored phone, because I may or may not like how it looks on the front. Sometimes it looks kind of gaudy. I'm sure a lot of you guys can agree with me. So now you can pick any color that you want, and you don't have to feel that it's going to look a little weird. So thank you, Samsung, for that. Some of you won't agree. Actually, let me know what your preference is on this. If you would rather have the colors on the back also be on the front. But I think this is good. Let's set this aside for a second, see what else is in the box. Stuff. I really like how Samsung has really nice unboxing experiences. Everything's packaged really nicely. You've got your SIM ejection tool here. You've got some documentation in the box. So there's all your literature and packets. Now look at that. Look how nicely everything has been placed in the box here. You guys on AT&T, let me know what your unboxing experience is like. Is it just thrown in the box instead of having this nice actual Samsung box? So it looks like we've got a little adapter here. Here's the USB connector. This works really great if you want to, say, connect a USB stick or to simply transfer information between devices. Here we have the quick charge brick, adaptive fast charging. And under here we should have a special goodie. These are the AKG earbuds that they've included in the box. I think they said these retail for $100. So we should have some pretty nice quality earbuds finally. And I'm actually pretty excited about this. You can see that it's a nice braided cord, so it's not going to get all tangled. And also make sure that it's more durable. Looks like we've got some replacement buds or just different size buds. And then lastly, we have our USB-C cable. So there you go. Okay, next day. So I've taken a little bit of time to play with this, and boy, you guys, this is a gorgeous phone. You guys well already know this. You've been hearing this over and over again. But what really surprises me most is just how much nicer this feels in the hand over last year. Here's the Galaxy S7 Edge. And this was not bad to hold, not at all. But I know a lot of people are really going to like that slim feel to it. And it does have that nice roundedness that the Galaxy Note 7 had. That was something I really liked. And just look at the size comparison here. It is indeed smaller than the S7 Edge, and I didn't even think this was a large phone. So I'm feeling a little bit conflicted right now. I know I told you guys in my in-depth hands-on impressions review. I'll put a link in the description to that if you want to check it out. I told you guys that I liked the bigger version of the phone, and now I'm feeling conflicted because this small one is perfect. Perfect for my hands. It's really easy to handle for me. And this point carries over because I really want to have the best comparison to the LG G6. You can see that they look roughly the same size, although this phone feels quite a bit fatter. Still a great feeling phone, but it's fatty in comparison almost. So I will have a chance to use these side by side, and I'm extremely interested in doing so, especially because a lot of people like to have just a flat display like this. It can get kind of distracting to have these curved edges. And they are indeed curved. You can see the reflection yourself. This is the flat viewing area versus the curve. And since this is a taller display this time, I feel like there is less actual flat viewing surface than there was last year on the S7 Edge. So that's going to be distracting for some people. So far, palm rejection has been pretty great. I haven't been accidentally executing anything on the sides of the display. But another thing I can point out, which is a little bit distracting, and it's been this way ever since I've seen curved edges on these smartphones, is that there's a bit of a color difference on the edge here than there is in the center. And that's due to the curve of the display. So if this is something that bothers you, you probably want to go for a flat screened display. But for me, it's something that I've gotten used to over time, especially because I've had every curved display from Samsung so far, minus the Note Edge. So what other differences are immediately apparent between the S8 and the S7 Edge? You can see that on here, on our frame, we've got this nice matte type of a finish, this metal matte finish. This is a shiny chrome type finish. And while it looks stunning, I wonder if it's going to pick up scratches more easily than the S7 Edge did. So that's something I will pay heavy attention to, but it really does look nice. So now let's take a look around the phone and point out all the ports and all the features that this thing offers. It's completely full of features. I can tell you one thing, this phone is supposed to be meant for a very broad market of people. But I don't think that a lot of those people are going to even know how to use half those features. They might be better off with the LG G6, honestly, if you are a more simplistic person. So let's start off with the front here. Let's change the exposure so that we can see all these things. So on the front we have the LED notification light, we have the infrared LED, this is for the iris scanner, ambient light sensor, proximity sensor, we have the receiver, which is just a receiver, not a secondary speaker. We have an 8 megapixel front-facing camera and also the iris sensor camera. Then on the bottom here we have nothing but a very slim bezel. It's really nice that the front is completely unbranded. The only bezels that we have to speak of on this is just a very slight black border on this curve here, all along the sides. This thing really is all screen. On the right-hand side, we have our power button. On the left-hand side, we have a volume rocker and also the dedicated Bixby button. Now, this device has not been officially released yet. It's going to be officially released tomorrow, the 21st. And from what I'm hearing from Samsung, they're going to be disabling this, or they already did disable it, and in updates, you won't be able to remap this anymore. Samsung themselves did not enable that ability, but third parties have gone and created special applications to be able to remap this Bixby button. You can see BX Actions. This is the T-Mobile version of the phone, and it's working right now. I was able to remap the Bixby button. If I push and hold, it's going to bring up Google Now. So it's still currently working, but I'm sure not for much longer. In terms of how I feel about Bixby, we will really have to see. I do like having Bixby Hello right here. It's really not so bad because I do use Samsung Health. So I don't think I'm going to hate this entirely, but I really would like to have the choice to remap it if I wanted to. Currently, Bixby Voice is not working. You should be able to hold this down and be able to talk to it like your Google Assistant. Currently, right now, you can still access Google Assistant by holding down on the home button. You can see there it is right there. So it's still there. Another thing to point out about the front is that we do not have a home button anymore. At least not the way that it was before. This is now still hardware underneath the display paired with software. And it does have a haptic feedback to it. It kind of feels like a button. Although I have to admit that I prefer the way Apple has implemented it because I can feel it truly down here at the bottom when you click it. The vibration I'm feeling is somewhere over here, so that's a bit weird. To make this feel a little less weird, I would personally recommend going underneath vibration intensity settings. It's underneath sound and vibration. And you can change around the hard press vibration feedback. I personally think it feels best around the lower setting. That way it doesn't feel like your whole hand is vibrating when you press here. Another tip that I have about this hardware/software button is do go underneath always on display settings. Go underneath content to show. Have clock or information checked only. That way you can avoid burn-in. Let me show you what I mean about that. So if I have home button and clock information, you can see that even when the display is off, you're still showing the always on display information. This part here moves around to avoid burn-in, but this little button here always is going to stay there. So over time, that'll burn in, I bet you. So my fix is to go content to show, clock or information only. So now take a look. You've got your always on display, but the home button doesn't show, and it's still going to work as a hardware home button. We have just successfully avoided burn-in, and most people are not going to know this feature exists. Now moving on to looking at the top, we have a microphone and also the SD card slot, which also pairs as the SIM slot. Then on the bottom we have a standard headphone jack, we have the USB-C charging port, we've got another microphone, which I believe is the AOP microphone, and then we've got a single speaker here along the bottom. Now it's not the loudest speaker and it's not the best sounding speaker, but it gets the job done. Then taking a look at the back, we've got the fingerprint sensor, which is in a very weird place. I'm getting used to it. Although due to the placement of this, I'm sure Samsung is counting on you using the other types of biometric features, such as the iris scanner. We've also got the 12.2 megapixel camera here on the back. Now this is not the same sensor as last year. I was able to prove that. So maybe it's a similar setup as last year, but this is not the exact same camera as last year. I really wish people would get that right. Then we've also got the single LED for the flash and the sensor for Samsung Health. And we've also got wireless inductive charging, NFC, and this thing is water resistant and dust resistant, IP68. This crazy phone here has so many features. It kind of feels like a mini Note 7 to me, without the pen. So the last thing that I want to talk about in this video is how I'm planning on protecting my phone. This is a very slim feeling phone. It's glass on the back and on the front. It even feels kind of slippery on the frame here, so I'm afraid of dropping it. But the thing is that I don't like bulky cases and I don't want to lose the ability to see the beautiful design of the phone. You spend $1,000 on a phone and then just put it in a case? That just doesn't make any sense to me. So what I usually choose is a bumper. This is the Rhino Shield Crash Guard by Evolutive Labs. Just slip it on, it's easy to do. And you can see now that I have some lay on the table design. It doesn't add a lot of bulk. It feels really nice in the hand. It doesn't feel slippery now. And in the event that I do drop it, it's got some drop protection on the edges here. And you can see that they say that it absorbs impact of at least 11 feet. And I know this to be true because I've done a lot of tests with these fun little cases in the past. So if you're curious about this case, I will put a link in the description to this. Thank you to my friends at Evolutive Labs for sending this out for me to take a look at and to show you all. So this is all that I want to say for now, and tomorrow I'm going to go out and get myself a Galaxy S8 Plus. I will probably unbox that as well. So stay tuned for that video. And of course, I'm going to be doing a full review on this and the S8 Plus and also on the LG G6. So stay tuned for all of that. So this has been Erica, the technology nerd who likes to film stuff. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. If you're curious to check out the in-depth hands-on impression review that I made already, you can click right here. Let me know which phone you're going with, the bigger one or the smaller one. Or maybe you want to go with the LG G6. Let me know. Have a good night.